Oh man, Marvel fans, I have several really exciting updates all about the coming Moon Knight show starring Oscar Isaacs. And man, the more I hear about the show, the more hyped up I am. Let's break it all down.
Break it down.
What is up, everybody? It's Josh coming at you from Nerd Avengers Tower. As per usual, do me a favor and smash that like button if you are super hyped up for the Moon Knight show. And if you're sort of on the fence or not that excited about the show, I'd venture to say by the end of this video, your hype level will be over 9,000.
What? 9,000?
Okay, so let's first talk about the possibility of George Clooney directing an episode of Moon Knight. And this is in a report coming out from The Ronin, and it's all about how George Clooney is rumored to be directing an episode of the coming Disney Plus show Moon Knight. Within the article, they talk about how the show has wrapped, but there are still plenty of surprises out there to be discovered and a lot of stuff that fans are looking for. They make mention of the fact that the show has filmed in Budapest, London, and in Jordan. And then they arrive at the juice of the article where they talk about how Clooney may have directed an episode. Now, The Ronin is pretty good. They have pretty good sources, but they are reporting this as a rumor, so take it with a grain of salt, but it's pretty cool nonetheless. Now, as mentioned in the article, George Clooney has actually directed Oscar Isaac before on the thriller Suburbicon. And I've seen Clooney's directing before. He's a very good director, obviously Hollywood elite, and to me, this is just really cool for basically one main reason, and that's that this is sort of a pedigree flex. Like, this is Marvel Studios coming out and sort of flexing that this isn't just some crazy Disney Plus show, but they are getting people of the pedigree of George Clooney to come in and be involved in the show. Now, from what I've seen of Clooney's directing, it has sort of an old-timey classic cinema feeling, and I just couldn't help but speculate that maybe we'd see some scenes shot under the direction of Clooney with Oscar Isaac where he's playing the millionaire of Steve Grant. And if you didn't know, yeah, the character of Mark Spector has multiple personalities. Now, in some version of the comics, they are just different personalities that he willingly becomes in order to throw people off or get different, pieces of information out there. But there's also parts of the comics where he literally has split personality disorder and he can't decide if he actually is Moon Knight or if he actually is Mark Spector, or maybe he just is Steve Grant. Regardless, the vibe that I get from a character like Steve Grant is kind of that Rat Pack old Sinatra type vibe, and it could be really cool to see Oscar Isaac directed by Clooney in such a sequence. And this sort of takes me into another fun thing that's going on in the Moon Knight show, and this would have to do with the character, or rather the persona, of Mr. Knight. This is a version of Moon Knight that deals with different gangsters, that brokers different deals, and is usually seen wearing an all-white suit with a mask that more closely resembles something like Deadpool's mask or the Grifter from DC Comics, as opposed to the sort of crazy hooded mask that we think we'll see in the main Moon Knight suit. And in fact, there was an article a couple of weeks back dropped on My Cosmic Circus, which has very good sources, and in that article they talked about how the persona of Mr. Knight would be appearing in the show, and we were very likely to see Oscar Isaac in that white suit with just that weird mask, right? Not fully kitted up like the Batman version of Moon Knight, but the more chill and suave version of the character. And again, this makes me think that Clooney directing Oscar Isaac wearing that suit in a scene where maybe he's talking to other different gangsters or other people within the government, that could be really, really fun. And I think we'd see Clooney's directing style really shine in something like this. Now, that kind of brings me into another exciting thing that I wanted to talk about, and this is within that My Cosmic Circus article that's talking about Mr. Knight. In the back half of that article, they are referring to just how crazy the action is going to be for Moon Knight, describing it as really gritty and really intense, and they even make mention of the fact that we may well see Moon Knight doing a sort of hallway scene of action, just like what we see in a lot of the Netflix Marvel shows, including some really epic ones with Matt Murdock's Daredevil. They have an awesome hallway scene with him in the first season of Daredevil. There's one going around a stairwell in the second season. The Punisher has that crazy scene going through the prison. And so there's a little bit of a precedence there for hallway action scenes that take place with a single shot. And this is just awesome. So if you don't know much about the character from the comics, Moon Knight is something like a Batman type character. He's really like Punisher meets Batman, but he also has a little bit of the flavor of the Joker as well, with the whole crazy and multiple personality thing. But he is a very adept fighter. He can do all sorts of crazy stuff and really reminds me a lot of Batman. And so we've always joked about how Marvel may well do this Moon Knight show and do their version of Batman in a way that could compete with some of the best Batman we've seen DC do, which would be kind of hilarious. But regardless, it's getting me very excited for what we might see with this character doing crazy action sequences. Just a lot of things to be excited about with the Moon Knight show. But now I want to talk about some of the sweet speculation that's out there for the Moon Knight show. Some of this is just rumors. Some of it is more than rumors. So I do want to issue a slight spoiler warning here, although I don't think this ruins anything for the plot. It may ruin or at least let you know about a possible coming surprise or two that will be in the Moon Knight show. So a couple of months ago, there was an interesting article published by the Hashtag Show talking about how Marvel wanted to establish the Midnight Suns as a big team for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That the idea was that instead of just having the Avengers, there were going to be many different teams established in the Marvel Cinematic Universe going forward. That echoes a lot of what we've heard over the past couple of years with regards to teams like the Young Avengers or the Dark Avengers or the Thunderbolts. And we think that Valentina Contessa, who does show up to sort of recruit John Walker, and at the end of Black Widow also recruit Florence Pugh. Yeah, we think that character is starting to establish the Thunderbolts within the MCU. And so we might see something like that happening in the Moon Knight show with a different person that will be recruiting for the Midnight Suns. Within that article that the Hashtag Show published, they talk about how Moon Knight's going to be involved, Doctor Strange is going to be involved, Ghost Rider, Hellblazer, and a lot of fun stuff. And I like the Hashtag Show, and I think they're usually pretty good with their sources, but I get the feeling that that Midnight Suns project is in such early development that a lot of stuff could still change. However, it's very possible that certain characters that will go on to play a bigger role in the Midnight Suns movie or show will be established in the Moon Knight show. Some of the big rumors out there are Werewolf by Night. There's also a strong possibility that Blade and Mahershala Ali as Blade could pop up in the show, and that would just be simply mind-blowing. Now, the last bit of sort of spoilery news here that has me super excited. So excited! Is the possibility of, drum roll please, Jon Bernthal's Punisher making a cameo in the Moon Knight show. Now, this comes from a YouTube channel called Small Screen Leaks, which is a new junket on the scene, but they did have some juicy details about Jon Bernthal's Punisher plans with the MCU before a lot of other people had it, and some buzz has been happening around that story, making it seem like it's a very real thing. In fact, we've covered it recently in videos. So within the report that Small Screen had, they said that Jon Bernthal as the Punisher would be showing up in the Moon Knight series, which is mind-blowing. It makes a lot of sense aesthetically, as the Punisher is a ground sort of street level hero. That's usually the place that Moon Knight operates as well, because even though he's supernatural, he is sort of like a Batman ground level hero, just taking care of the city. And on top of that, they've both been members of the Midnight Suns in the past. And so it's even possible we see Frank Castle begin to be established as something to do with the supernatural or being brought into the Midnight Suns. And it's just fascinating because that new video game, the Midnight Suns Marvel video game, is being put out there. There's trailers, there's exciting promotion for it, and Punisher is in that as well. I also totally think this could happen, as we do believe that Wilson Fisk and Vincent D'Onofrio as Wilson Fisk will be showing up in the Hawkeye show in the last couple of episodes. And it kind of seems like Feige may have gotten some contracts figured out with the Netflix show characters and actors, and he wants to sprinkle that throughout some of the MCU Disney Plus stuff that was already in development. I think this is fascinating. But again, if the Wilson Fisk D'Onofrio rumors are correct for Hawkeye, which I strongly feel that they are, then I'm gonna go ahead and buy these Jon Bernthal rumors as well. And it's like, did I even need another reason to be super hyped up for the Moon Knight show? Probably not, but now I freaking got one. So there you have it, folks. A bunch of detailed breakdowns of new information and rumors with regards to the Moon Knight show. Please let us know what you think about all these different tidbits here. And ultimately, how excited are you for the coming Moon Knight show? Let us know in the comment section below. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe to our channel to see more of our content pop up in your recommended feed. And go check out our live streaming channel, man. Come on by, ask a question. It's always a good time over on the live streaming channel. And as I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.